Hello everyone, and welcome to another FullHouse manga anime review. I am AceofSpadesFTW, and today I intend to tell you about the fantasy adventure series Martian Awakens Romance, or MAR as it's commonly known for short. Listen up and I hope you enjoy. This is Jinta Toromizu, a 14-year-old underachiever with nothing going for him except a recurring dream of a fantasy world where he gets to be the hero with all the abilities that he doesn't have in real life. So when a mysterious being appears at his school and drags him into the exciting world of Mar Heaven, the one from his dream, including those enhanced abilities along with it, he's going to be over the moon about it. But he soon realises that he wasn't brought here by coincidence, as he is dragged into a war against the Chess Pieces, a group of megalomaniacs who are bent on making Mar Heaven crumble and burn. The same group had declared war 6 years before, but were foiled by another human who came from Earth as well, and Jinta is expected to do the same. Determined to save this world he's fallen in love with, Jinta and a ragtag group of allies and friends decide to go against the chess pieces and beat them at their own war games and bring them down once and for all. To fight, people use items called arums, objects with magical properties granting the wearer with different effects. Some of these can summon the elements, some can call on weapons, and some can even bring out monstrous guardians. And there are other powers that can vary greatly between different arums. On first glance, this looked like an unappealing manga, especially within the first few volumes. It came off as a pretty cliche fantasy adventure, which we've all seen done and tried before, with some concepts which have already been associated with this genre, and it did little to break away from the mold and to catch my interest. I mean, spaghetti head hero, transported to another world, use of magical items to fight. It's all been done before, and I was a bit disappointed that it wasn't really breaking out into its own story. However, after these first few volumes and the basic introductions to the story have been made, I think that's when the manga began to catch my interest. What started as this unoriginal adventure series soon became an interesting, action-packed storyline. Just to emphasize what I mean by this is, the series is 15 volumes long, and of those, 11 are mostly fighting. I thought this was worth that slow opening, as the fighting really kept me interested, and it always wanted me to turn that next page. And it's not like the fighting is always serious, as some of the opponents or even our own main characters can really add comedy throughout the volumes, and this really keeps a smile on your face throughout the series. Those looking for good fighting scenes, but not under serious situations, I really think Mar will appeal to you. The storyline finally begins to develop now and become its own brand, so to speak. The story gives you plenty of twists and surprises along the way, and by the end of it, it leaves you with a happy feeling and makes you glad that you didn't stop reading with those first few volumes. Character-wise, I've got to give the author some credit here. I mean, there are 7 main characters, and considering the amount of action involved, you still have to give each of them a very decent amount of character development, and he's still able to delve into the past a little more in between the fighting. Just before we move on, I think it's probably best I just take a look at the main characters for a moment. Junta is the main hero, of course, who you follow throughout the story, and like many characters of his type, he has this great confidence and chirpy optimism, which spreads around to everyone and gives them confidence as well. Jack is Jinta's best friend in Mar Heaven, and he joined Jinta to become a man. Unfortunately for him, he always seems to be looked on as a bit of a loser, and this can provide a bit of the comedy throughout the series. Snow is a princess of the most powerful kingdom in Mar Heaven, Lesvara. She's very kind and pure, and she has a strange connection to Jinta's best friend on Earth, Koyuki, a classmate of his. Dorothy is a witch who travels around Mar Heaven trying to collect rare arums, and also she's secretly trying to look for someone very important. She also has this cute affection for Jinta, which Snow seems to get a bit jealous at. Nanashi is the leader of the Thief Guild in Mar Heaven, and he's pretty popular with the ladies. He's joined the group to avenge his comrades that have been killed by the chess pieces in this new war. Elvis is actually this most serious member of the group, and he actually, although he was only a kid, he tried to help in the first war. He's also the one who summoned Jinta here in the first place, but he didn't exactly get what he wanted, of course. And Alan is a veteran from the First War. He actually competed and was probably the second strongest for the good side. He acts as the teacher for this new generation, and of course when he's fighting, he's probably the most powerful. And finally we come to Babor, a living heirloom that Jinta found when he first came to Marheaven. He has no memory of his past, and he considers himself a bit of a gentleman. Of course their conflicting views always seem to end up with them fighting. What are his powers, you ask? Well, I'm going to keep that a secret and let you find out for yourself. But I think what's more impressive than our actual main characters is actually the opponents our heroes are facing, chess pieces. In every round of combat, our heroes are always facing new members of the chess pieces, and the range of the cast and personal uniqueness of each one I think is fantastic, and any reader is sure to find a favourite amongst the rest. I mean, there's a pirate one, an Arabian thief one, a ninja one, and there's even a cat girl. And considering each opponent uses different and newer heirlooms, you're bound to see something new each time a fight starts, along with the familiarity our heroes' heirlooms bring to the fight. Also, I think the artwork is nice. I mean, it changes depending on the seriousness or silliness of the scene very well, and being a manga full of action, there are a lot of large size or double-sided pictures, and these have a lot of added extra detail, which look really good, and they add to the excitement of the scene. I think where this manga suffers a bit, especially near the end, is how certain events come off as a bit cheesy, if you get me. This is kind of hard to explain without giving away any spoilers, but it's like how throughout the story, everyone's like, oh my god, Jinta's powers are rising all the time, he could really be the one to save us all, Or, I mean, how certain characters go up against any opponents that they have some back history, and what a surprise. And even, like, oh boy, it's lucky that we did this near the beginning of the story, because coincidentally, it's going to help us out near the end now. And, you know, it kind of dumbed it down a bit for me. It's nothing big, but, you know, it did kind of annoy me. Okay, I think I've got all I wanted to say out now about this particular manga, so I think it's time to give my final verdict on Machine Awakens Romance. Okay, positives. There's some good fantasy-based action. It has an enjoyable cast of heroes and villains, and it has some decent artwork, especially with the large-scale pictures. Negatives include a disappointing and slow beginning, which I think could turn off potential readers before the story gets interesting, and some slightly cheesy concepts within the storyline, but despite the amount I've just bitched about it, I'd still give Ma an 8 out of 10. I mean, anyone who likes a fantasy series, I really recommend it. Of course, the only problem I'd say is, are you willing to fork over for the 15 volumes? I mean, with that bad beginning, you might not think it's worth it, but this is something I think you'd have to stick to really appreciate it. Well then, I hope you enjoyed my review, and I hope you found it informative, and I just want to say thanks for listening again. This is AceofSpadesFTW for the win, end of my manga review on Machine Awakens Romance. Till next time.